Chris, Torquay United versus York City on Saturday. Obviously, you've got York City connections, but looking at Torquay first, how do you think things are going? We're now 2 months into the season. How are we progressing and evolving as a team?
I think that's the key. The pleasing thing is that we are progressing, and we've certainly seen signs in the latter games that we're making progression. I think we all needed a little bit of a reality check at Fleetwood and a kick up the backside, and it gave us that. So it also gave us an opportunity from a management perspective to say, look, if you don't turn up, if you don't perform, certainly against the better teams in the division, you run the risk of that. And I think the boys sort of realised what work ethic and ethos, which has really what got us out of the trouble last year, needs to be in every game, every training session really, in order for us to keep progressing.
That is a point Manager Alan Neil has sort of reiterated. Every single day you turn up to work, be it a cold, windy morning on the training ground or a big game on a Saturday, attitude and mentality's got to be spot on.
It's huge, and today it's probably the first real day since we've moved down to Devon that you've had the different elements, and it was terrible. The weather conditions. However, the training session wasn't, and that was pleasing. So the boys got on with it. It was sharp, and they showed the attitude that you do need. Certainly on a Thursday leading up to a big game. And the players have responded and done what was asked, and that's starting to come through more and more each day. And I think the standards that the players are starting to set themselves now, and what we expect are coming through, and the demand of it each other. So and that's pleasing, as I say, and they've got to be on it every day. Otherwise, you can quickly take your foot off the gas and you can step backwards, and none of us want that.
There was a line you just mentioned there where the players demand it off each other, because obviously yourself and Alan are the coaching staff along with Kenny, but how important is it that as your fellow pros, your teammates, your peers, that people are always on each other's case to be as good as they can be?
Well, I think it's not a case of being on at each other. I think it's just demanding it, and once they cross that white line, there's only a certain level of things that we can actually get on in terms of information. Yes, you've got a plan, and we spoke even about Saturday. For all it was a good performance, the result wasn't what really we should have come out with, and there were certain times within the game, within the framework, which we sort of asked key players, look, the plan was still working, the actual performance was good. Take away the goals, there was times in the game, key stages, where we just had a little bit of lack of discipline and lost our shape and framework a little bit. And if we'd have continued that for 90 minutes, we genuinely believe we'd have got something out of the game, and pointed this out. And players they're intelligent, and they've understood and went, well, yeah, you're right. If there's something key that we're not happy with while the game's going on, we'll change it. We'll change the formation, we'll change personnel quickly in order to get something. So, we've got to make sure and reiterate to the players, look, trust us what we've set out here. This is the game plan. If it's wrong, fine, we'll hold our hands up, we'll quickly change it. But it was working on Saturday, and it nearly bore fruit. Sadly it didn't, but I think, take away and nullify the 2 goals on Saturday, I genuinely thought we were the better team. So it's no different in any game. You've got to set up in order to go out there and win, stick to it, and trust our judgment. And I think, as I say, the players will start to demand that of each other, and they're starting to know what their roles and responsibilities are more and more now.
I think that was perhaps reiterated by some of the comments you've heard from Newport, that we were one of the best sides they've faced. Moving forward to this Saturday, we've got York City, a club very familiar to yourself, but the current York City setup, what do you expect from them coming down to Playmore?
I think it'll be a tough challenge. I thought it was the game last season. I mean, the new management come in, and he quickly assessed strengths and weaknesses, and I think he's done the same this term quite quickly. He's brought in some good additions, one being Ryan Jarvis, who we had, so he brought in a good calibre of player. But within that, he's had to, similar to ourselves, sort of tweak it slightly and work out what is going to be the best formation and personnel. And he's quickly done that. So I think at the latter part, they may have been disappointed, apart from the opening game of the season, with their results. But certainly of late, he's understood what he feels his 11 is going to be in respect of in order to get a result. So I think it will be a tough challenge. They're a well-organised outfit, and they have some good quality in key areas going forward. So we'll have to be aware of that and make sure the players are aware of that.